Hello, everybody. This is Ian Beckles, and welcome back to the Plant Power Podcast. Hopefully, everybody had a wonderful week, and hopefully, you got out there and smoked something delicious. I know that I did. So, first and foremost, let me show some love to Curaleaf, our title sponsors. Curaleafs are all over the Tampa Bay area. Our Dignitary Tea and Kava House is right here on the corner of West Shore and Gandy. So, from here, I think there is 3 or 4 Curaleafs from a stone throw from here. So doesn't matter where you are in the Tampa Bay area, there's going to be a Curaleaf nearby. And it's all about, customer service and people treating you the right way and getting good deals and having wonderful flower. That's what Curaleaf has. And it seems like it's 50% off just about every single day. So go check them out there at Curaleaf. And if you don't have your medical marijuana card, right here at Dignitary Tea and Kava House, we're at 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. You can get your medical marijuana card right here from the Cannabis Doc. You can go to cannabisdocgroup.com, and every Friday they have these, they have people filing in and out of here, filling out things and drinking kava and drinking some kratom and having a good time and leaving here with their medical marijuana card. So come and hang out with us and get your card and get legal. That's what it's all about. Now, my man right here, Tom Ponzo, he's doing all that investigative journalism for me. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Everything's great, man.
Awesome. Now, I said to Tom, and we talked about this last week, this is a product that I saw at Curaleaf. It's a brand new product. It's called Relief. And the second they came out with it, they literally gave it to me because it's about pain relief. Okay, and I got quite a few pains for good reason. This might be one of the best things I've ever tried as far as just pain relief, something that you rub on. You did some journalism, investigative journalism on this. What did you find from Relief? What did you find
this
out?
morning, you knew I had some physical work to do today. So I asked if you had anything that could work for this. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take what you got. And he gave me this, and I put it on my shoulder. I'm experiencing a little bit of a pinched nerve in my neck, and I put some on my shoulder before I did that heavy lifting, and it worked great. I didn't have one thought of any pain that was going through my shoulder during that time. And after the physical work, my wife put some on my back because my back was feeling a little sore. I'm starting to feel the effects of it right now. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Relief.
Good stuff.
Relief from Curaleaf.
Good stuff. Now, the thing is, everybody thinks that, marijuana is just that dirt weed that you used to have in your basement. You can get marijuana and THC in your body a lot of different ways, people, okay? It's not just about getting high anymore. I personally like to get high. Some people do, some people don't. But THC has a lot of different uses, and one is for, therapeutic use, for pain, for arthritis. And this definitely helps out. Nothing's a cure to anything. You just get some relief, and I think that's what THC does to a lot of people out there. Now, there's a lot of different strains out there. I don't know what did we go over last week?
We went over
Sweat Helmet.
Sweat Helmet, yeah.
Sweat Helmet over there at Curaleaf. And this week, what did you look over this week as far as strains go?
I have Strawberry Diesel.
Okay, I've had that
today.
Quite a few times.
Yeah, it's basically something that allows me, like I did today as well, it helped me energize. I got more energy out of smoking it this morning, and it helped me complete a lot of the tasks that I did. It's also good for pain relief. So, I mean, that in combination with the Relief did a really, really good job. You can get Strawberry Diesel over at Curaleaf as well. I know they're selling it right now. It's well-balanced hybrid, they say here, relaxing your muscles while creating an energizing, clear-headed sensation. So also, if you're looking for help with insomnia and would like to get things done, so it's kind of a dichotomy in and of itself.
No doubt.
It may be a really good match for you if you're looking into things like that.
I think everybody fits that bill right there. I think everybody needs help sleeping, and everybody needs help concentrating in the daytime.
Yes.
And, marijuana is one of those things where everybody kind of says why they smoke marijuana, but everybody smokes marijuana. It doesn't,
No doubt.
I heard Queen Elizabeth used to smoke marijuana because she had menstrual cramps. You just like smoking marijuana, like everybody else, right? I mean, it doesn't matter why you smoke marijuana. Everybody just smokes marijuana because it makes you feel good, and that's the way it is. Listen, everybody has to have a vice, or you run up in buildings, you shoot them up. You have to have a vice, and this is the best of all the vices out there.
I think so. Yeah,
no doubt. Now, we went to an event last weekend, KushCon, over there at the Tampa Convention Center, and we had a booth, and we made a lot of great connects there. I ran into a guy that I had interviewed on the radio before, Lofa Tutupu, who's very involved in the CBD world and the THC world. We hit it off. He came here to the cafe. He loves kava. I don't know how many shells he drank, but he drank quite a few. God bless him. And I thought the event went well. What did you think about the event overall?
I thought it was great. I made a lot of contacts too. I saw a couple of the seminars they had with gubernatorial candidate Nikki Fried, the state agriculture commissioner. She really wants to get marijuana legalized for everyone here in Florida, or at least adults over 21.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Nikki Fried is one of the. By the way, Nikki, I've been trying to get you on this podcast for a long time, and you've been evading me.
We're working on it.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get Nikki. She was, she was a big deal, and I was DJing on the side, and she had her little parties. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to mess with her while she was in there, but she's definitely somebody I want to talk to. She's definitely been a proponent of marijuana for a long time.
Very long time.
And listen, I'm not a very political person, a lot of things on the ballot really don't pertain to me, but marijuana is something that certainly does pertain to me. We're trying to stay at the forefront of it in this building in a lot of different ways. We do have our consumption lounge outside. If anybody has their medical marijuana card, which they get right in here, you can go outside and smoke it after you have your kava in your kratom. It's a little hot during the day now, but it's still not too bad at night. Everybody's out there chilling, having a good time. But it was good to be rubbing elbows with people that are like-minded and understand that the stigma, it's time to squash the stigma.
A lot of talk about that going on. It's like people were just saying in those seminars, the stigma is over, really. There's nothing really that we need to worry about with regard to how this affects our health. It's so much better for you than liquor or pills or any other things. I mean, I'm not a former drinker. I still have a drink occasionally, but I do not drink as much as I used to when I was younger. I can't handle it anymore, but this I can handle, and it just keeps me calm and sane and relaxed, and sometimes just chill.
I get it. Chill's a good word. And I have to disagree with you. I don't think the stigma's over. I think the stigma is still there in a lot of ways.
It's a shame.
I still see a lot of interviews, and people will say, oh, they opened a dispensary, I'm against it. And I feel like, say, against what? What are you against? You should be against the pills or that bar down the street. That's what you really should be against.
Right.
So listen, I think we have like-minded people that come here, dignitary and more intelligent people. So I think we understand. Maybe we read a little bit more than all the drinkers out there as well. So don't go anywhere. We're going to come back. I have my man Frank the Kava OG. We're going to talk about what's going on here in Dignitary and how we're staying ahead of the Joneses. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Plant Power Podcast. Welcome back to the Plant Power Podcast, and my man right here, my business partner, Frank the Kava OG.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Everybody give Frank a hand. Everybody give him a hand. Just give him a hand for making the best kava and kratom on the planet. Give him there you go. I like your Tom Ponzo.
Bula.
So Frank the Kava OG, talk to everybody about your upbringing in kava. Like to call yourself a Kava OG. For kava to be in your name, it's got to be pretty darn important, brother.
It's just, for me, I found kava 2009, I think it was. I just wandered into Bula Cafe, and I had a couple of shells, and from that point on, it was like, I've got to find out what this stuff is. So over that last 12, 13 years, I became a part of several different tribes. So I was hanging out with Bula people for a long time, Muddy Water, Low Tide, just people in the community know me, and I was a strong proponent of kava. I learned how to make it. I started researching islands, where it came from, chemotypes, things like that, and it just became a passion of mine.
Beautiful.
And then this opportunity came along, and here I am.
There we are, and here we are. We're creating our own tribe here as we're coming.
Is growing.
Yeah, we're getting close to a year, and it's amazing how much we've grown in this 1 year.
October 1st is going to be our
Every once in a while, I'll look around and I go, it's kind of weird. It's almost like I remember you know, me, you, and a couple other people sitting on the corner. You know, Sean and a couple other people sitting in the corner of the bar.
This place.
Wondering what it may look like, and it's come a long way.
It's came a long, long way, and it's still evolving every day.
It is.
We've got so much stuff going on with, you know, this area here. It's constantly we're updating things. We've got the outdoor area. We're adding new plants and stuff.
Yep.
We've got the soon-to-come consumption lounge, which is going to be super, super exciting because I love that high-end kind of cigar bar feel.
Yep.
Just so much crap. I mean, the good stuff is happening here, and it's a great chemistry. Everybody that walks in this building is like, wow, what a vibe.
Exactly.
What a vibe you guys have. And
It's a good feel, and I think that's what draws people in. And we're not a normal kava bar. I don't think when you walk in, it looks and feels different. Football season's coming around. I don't know if any other kava bars really even emphasize sports.
No,
we definitely
not really.
emphasize sports
We definitely
here.
emphasize
Definitely.
sports. I want to say we're revolutionizing the whole kava industry
I'm
with
okay
the
with
things
that.
we're doing by adding a cannabis stock in house. That's it's an unbelievable thing. It's a match made in heaven. Legal cannabis and kava work well together. It's all good for you.
Yes.
You know, and that in itself. And one of the things I wanted to touch on real quick is at KushCon. One of the things that I thought was really interesting was seeing people in the medical profession actually being on board with medical cannabis. There were doctors there on stage talking about how they're directing their patients more towards this as opposed to the other alternatives, and that for me was like the light came on. This stigma is there. You're right. The stigma is there, but it's changing.
Well, it's to a point now where I think a doctor is showing their ignorance if you don't support cannabis. You're showing your ignorance. So what you're prescribing? How many millions of pills? But you're against cannabis. If a doctor told me he's against cannabis,
oh, it wouldn't be my doctor.
I'm done. I'm not. I don't. Like, so give me. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to emphasize here. You know, at the Dignitary Tea and Kava House, it's about natural stuff. You know. We talked before. There was a young lady here that was trying to fight against people trying to ban kratom. You know, it's like. That's still happening in this world. It's crazy.
It's a never-ending battle because you're going up against so much more money. You know, kratom's something that can help a lot of people in a lot of different ways, but then you've got the big pharma that, you know, sees it as a demon seed. You know, which it's not. It's actually a really good herbal medicine if used properly.
Correct, exactly. Now, we want to stay on top of everything, and I sit here and I watch everybody drink your concoctions, and to a man or a woman, they're always like, this is the best here and the best. And I think it's the best as well. Explain the difference between the way you brew and the way everybody else is brewing. I see it. What's the difference?
Yeah, everybody does it differently, and I don't want to give away all
No,
my
I don't want to see your secrets. Don't give me your secrets away.
My main component is quality depends on smaller batches. So anything that's done small batch is going to have emphasis on quality. Once you start mass producing anything, I do 1 gallon batches of all my kavas, anywhere from 4 to 6, 7 different varieties. It's always changing, so I'm rotating it. I'm always looking for new strains of kava from different islands, and I take so much passion in the way I make it. I use a mango wood bowl to start it out, and then I finish it off but it's all small batch kava, and I think that is really what makes the difference.
Well, I'm going to say this. I think you can say that about anything in this world. I mean, if you start off and you have a little restaurant, it has quality.
Absolutely.
But when you grow, sometimes the quality goes away.
And that's the big thing that we actually have to battle, and everybody has to battle, is consistency. You know, it's going to be good. It's great now, but you know, what's it going to be a year from now? It still better be the same a year from now as it is today, and that's my commitment to everybody. As I guarantee you, anybody that I make pretty much 95% of the kava and kratom in here, but anybody that I bring in to do that is going to be doing it the exact same way, and they're going to have that same level of passion. It's going to be something that changed their life like it changed my life.
No doubt, and I think that's the part that amazes me as we go forward. The amount of people that talk about kava and kratom saving their, like, literally.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't. Have you ever heard anybody said alcohol saved my life?
No, God no.
God, no. It's funny, right? I mean, alcohol's killed some, but kratom and tea.
Alcohol killed my father at 52.
Alcohol killed so many people, bro. It's amazing.
And I was headed down that same path. I was, you know, I was in my mid-40s. I was overweight, alcoholic, and you know what? If I would have not walked into that kava bar, none of this would have happened.
Well, bro, I was drinking half a handle a night about a little over a year ago, and
It takes its toll.
you think, yeah. When you wake up in the morning, I feel a lot better when I wake up now, and just making better decisions and having things from the earth is a lot better than drinking
Absolutely.
that devil's juice.
Yeah, but it's what's beautiful about this though too. You can maybe every once in a while have a drink.
Sure,
You know,
absolutely.
as a treat to yourself.
Yeah.
You want to have a beer, a glass of wine, or something like that. That's a beautiful thing because you can do that and still go the next day and not touch alcohol again for 6 or 7 months.
Correct.
You know,
Well,
that's the beauty of it.
And the thing is, like when I went to Colombia for a week, okay, I had a couple drinks here and there because I realized the reason why I had a couple drinks is because they don't have any kava.
Yeah.
Because when I go out now and I go somewhere, I'm
Yeah.
thinking I can have a couple drinks, but then I'm coming back and I won't be able to drink kava.
That's
So
it.
that I have to make a choice, and this is my choice.
And kava truly does make you feel better.
It does.
You know, you're not hungover. You sleep great. You wake up feeling great.
Aches and pains are
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Alcohol adds to everything.
Yeah, and Kava also has that community spiritual thing too, that where it just breeds positive energy, and everybody around you has a positive aura when they're chilling and consuming Kava. We bula in a traditional island way with long life and good health, and we keep it as traditional as we can, and it is. It's I tell everybody, oh, you make the great Kava, and you got such a great vibe. It's not me. It is the Kava.
It's the Kava.
I blame it on the Kava.
We'll be back with my boy Devin Mueller. We'll be back.
All right.
This is the last segment of Plant Power Podcast, and we saved the best for last. This young man ran into him at KushCon and just talked a little bit and kind of hit it off and started telling some stories and had an unbelievable story, and this is something everybody needs to hear. This young man, I'm going to make sure I get your name right, Devin Mueller.
Yes, sir. You nailed it.
Good to see you, brother. He's a founder and executive producer from Abracadabra Films. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing a lot better now that I'm here at Dignitary,
Good,
bro. I
right?
gotta give you some mad props about this facility
Thank
and
you,
what you're
sir.
doing here. I am
Appreciate
a
you.
huge fan of Kava and Kratom. It saved my life, and
For
now
you.
I feel like I found a second home in Tampa.
Well, you're not the first person to say that, and some people don't leave.
Yeah,
Like
well,
literally, they sit here and hang out, and they'll be here tomorrow and the next day, and we'll all be here. So it's a beautiful family, brother. So welcome to the family.
oh my God, I'm honored.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
So it's a beautiful thing. So I ran into you at KushCon, and I don't know how we came about, but you're a very personable young man. And tell us what do you do? Tell us what you do.
I'm an executive producer. I was originally an actor, and I was behind the camera. I grew up performing, and then realized I had a passion for the business side of things as well. So I wanted to create stories and tell stories and entertain and educate people. My other career path would have been a teacher of theater or something like that, but it's hard to pay the bills when you're really
Understandable.
doing that. So shout out to all the teachers out there.
That's real. That's real though. Teachers are the real heroes out
Oh,
there.
man.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. I was at Blake for a little bit,
Yeah,
and
man.
like that's you get all ranges of everybody's personality there, which is great. But it's also I was 22, so I wasn't wise enough to be a teacher.
Understandable. So one love to all the teachers out there. So you're into the film business, and so you have a big project on the horizon. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about the stigma of cannabis earlier. I heard you guys talking, and I'm going to change that stigma. That's my mission.
Good.
I heard about the true story of the origins of the film Reefer Madness in
Can't wait to hear
1936.
this. I can't wait to hear
I'm
this.
about to share it with you, bro.
Yes,
And this was what inspired me to reshift my purpose in life and say, I don't know, whatever it takes, I have to tell this story. It's like one of my missions. Basically, in 1936, in case you guys aren't aware, there was a black and white propaganda film called Reefer Madness, where the lead character was an all-American football player, and he got cohorted into smoking reefer and ended up murdering somebody, raping somebody, and running somebody over with a car. So it was very realistic.
That darn weed.
Yeah,
Right?
Those hooligans in their reefer. Obviously, this was not based in any sort of reality, but it was a propaganda piece by Harry Anslinger, who was the head of the DEA, to go around the country and show all of our PTA groups, don't smoke weed or you're going to end up like.
So the head of the
this
DEA had something to do with that movie?
So he was an unofficial producer. So like,
Oh, boy.
it was on paper, and it wasn't using tax dollars. It was more for like nonprofits and church groups that funded it and financed it.
Okay.
But the movie was based on real murders that occurred here in Tampa, Florida in 1933.
Wow, that's crazy.
This is what really blew my mind, and I found out about this from somebody, a friend of mine, who's related to the family that was involved. A 20-year-old kid named Victor Licata in 1933 went crazy and murdered his whole family in the middle of the night with an axe.
Okay.
And the police came the next day and they found a joint roach at the scene of the crime, so they blamed the whole thing on weed.
Of course.
Right? And then Harry Anslinger had these files, these case files called Gore files. And they were all kinds of murders and different horrible crimes, but they would just associate them all with weed. To develop on the propaganda side of things. So I spent 2 years doing investigative journalism, the genealogy of the family, the real events of the murder, what actually happened. And this was a long time ago, so it's kind of hard to get to the bottom of this.
I would think so.
It turns out Victor's parents are first cousins, and the real guy.
Oh, really?
His parents, yeah, they weren't that great. They were first cousins, and he was in and out of psych wards his whole life.
Oh, boy.
So he was already a little bit like, word on the street was
Yeah.
like, he is a little bit off, he's a little bit crazy. Come to find out, I was doing location scouting for this movie, and we were going to roll cameras in 2020 in April, but the pandemic had other plans.
Sure.
So as I'm doing location scouting for that, the real house where the murders took place still exists in Ybor.
So it's still standing.
It still stands, and we planned on filming in the house. So I want to film right where it really happened. There's still axe marks on the windowsill.
No, come
so,
on.
dude, I walk in there,
That'd be
I contact the owner, and I'm like, yo, I like your house. I want to film a movie there. Can we talk? Can you show me
Did
around?
they know?
So this is the best part. He goes, come on over. I didn't say what it was about.
Yeah.
I said nothing. He invites me over for Cuban coffee in the morning. I show up, and he invites me inside, and there's a poster of Reefer Madness hanging on the wall. And I went, okay.
So he clearly knew.
Yeah. He's a fan of the history of Ybor.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was very, very cool that he preserved this house and wanted to keep it this way. And obviously, like, painted it and made it livable. But he's a steward of history. And he showed me upstairs the attic. And the attic had the remnants of an old moonshine still.
Okay.
So I had to go back and do more investigative journalism and be like, what is this? Come to discover that this family was making moonshine for the Traficantes, and this was right in the middle of Charlie Wall and the and Santos Seniors mob war down in Ybor.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
So Ybor used to be called Little Chicago, and that was because of all the moonshine, the rum running, and all that kind of stuff. So it was very violent, very gangster, very, stereotypical Prohibition era kind of setting. And the real thing that kind of sparked my interest was not only the Prohibition and the element of, did this family get whacked by being involved with organized crime, and then it got blamed on Victor? Was Victor actually crazy? What really happened? It was zooming out and examining what was occurring on the national scale, and who was Harry Anslinger. So I started looking into who Harry Anslinger is. Turns out he was the head of John Rockefeller's security. He married the niece of a man named Andrew Mellon, and Andrew Mellon was the Secretary of the Treasury at the time. So you got the three wealthiest people in the country at this time. You got Ford, Rockefeller, and Andrew Mellon. So you know, like Mellon Carnegie, Mellon Banks, Mellon Steel. He also owns 60% of DuPont.
All the money. They have all the money.
Tycoons. Probably the word tycoon came from. So he basically appoints his newly married into the family nephew to this head of a department that didn't exist. And he said, your first mission is to go make cannabis and hemp illegal. And I asked myself, why is this such a big deal? What is the deal with this? Turns out in 1933, a machine called the decorticator was invented. And this was like the cotton gin for hemp. So hemp was not cheap to industrial harvest and manufacture with. It was like a long process. You had to leave it out in the sun for 30 days and beat it with sticks and separate the fiber from the stalk, all kinds of real pain in the butt. But this thing was like a wood chipper. You just feed it in one side and it produces it out the other. So Popular Mechanics magazine came out with a magazine that said hemp, the new $1 billion crop. So basically Rockefeller and Mellon got together and said, this is, with William Randolph Hearst of the
genius.
Hearst Empire, Hearst newspapers, got together and said, this is going to cut the legs out of all of our business. We got to do something about this, but we can't say we got to ban cannabis because doctors prescribe cannabis. We can't say we got to ban hemp because our military ships are in our canvas bags and clothing is made from hemp. It's like in use everywhere. So let's invent of a word. Oh, this Mexican tobacco that has nothing to do with THC is called marijuana. Let's use that. That's a good idea. And let's blame it on a bunch of minorities and really messed up propaganda and fear mongering to scare the shit out of the American public.
What you're saying right now, I've heard in different ways, okay, throughout the years, okay? You know there's going to be some people listen to you that think you're crazy. You know that, right?
I've already encountered them. They're fine.
I don't think you're crazy at all. I think that's exactly the way things happened.
I got documents to back it up. That's
what I'm
the
saying.
thing. I didn't realize this. I was in the Reefer Madness Museum in Los Angeles, and I'm going through the museum with my phone doing a live stream, and I turn into a room that's all about the movie, and hanging on the wall is a letter from the Surgeon General of Florida to Harry Anslinger saying, hey, we heard about this kid called Victor Licata. He went crazy. We thought this case might be interesting to you.
Wow.
And I broke down into tears right there, man. That was 7 years of my life, and I went, I'm finally validated. It's real. This is, first of all, how did this document survive?
Correct.
Second of all, now nobody can argue. You know?
Well, what you just spat out there, I don't think anybody can spit out anything and lie about what you just said right there and kind of piece the pieces together. So the documentary is going to be coming out. We only have a minute and 20 seconds, so I want to make sure I want to make sure everybody gets all the information. Now, where is it coming out? When's it coming out? How are people going to be able to see it?
So you guys, everyone can go to Abracadabra Films, our website, and reach out to me. You can go to Twitter and reach out to me directly at Abracadabra Dev, D-E-V. It'll be in theaters. It's going to be a historical fiction. So think like what was I going to say? Think like Sin City meets The Untouchables.
Okay.
Something like that. So a scripted narrative. We can do more with it. I have a documentary that maybe another day we'll talk about Piney Point and Blood in the Water.
We're definitely going to talk about that. That's something that's near and dear to me. Absolutely. We talk about that on my radio show as well. Captain Mike Anderson calls in every Friday.
That's awesome.
And we do care about our waters, and I fish all the time. I'm in Crystal River fishing all the time, so I care about our waters, no doubt about that. And my boy Dominic Medina's involved with your whole thing as well.
This is my brother from childhood. And he's a co-founder and executive producer of my company.
We go way back. We got history, man. With his I got history with his family.
I heard. Well, I told him I was coming over, and then he filled me in on the history, and I said, just show up. I won't surprise him.
There you go. Well, brother, appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you're doing. Everybody, check him out. Please come by Dignitary Tea Kava House here real soon.
Yes.
Deuces, everybody. Be good.